Hey up me duck YouTube. Today I will be looking at the history of Aston Villa Football Club. I hope you enjoy this video. I'm going to start off by saying that coming out from the guidance of the UK government that there is going to be no fans allowed in, I think it's something like the whole of the EFL, maybe the National League. I hope all clubs can survive to the next season without revenue and stuff. I think the Premier League really need to give some of the money down to the lower leagues. I think the government needs to take some responsibility and give some money as well. I don't see why they can't do it at the moment. It's just I can see the cases are going up, so make sure you do keep safe and all, but I think personally they're managing to do it at a lower level down the pyramid. Why can't they do it with more capacity stadiums? Anyhow, enough of me ranting about EFL fans and stuff. Let's get straight on into the history of Aston Villa Football Club, which were formed way back when in the March of 1874 by members of the Villa Cross Wesleyan Chapel in Handsworth, which in modern day times is in Birmingham. The four founders of Aston Villa were Jack Hughes, Frederick Matthews, Walter Price, and William Scattergood. Aston Villa's first match was against local Aston Brook St Mary's rugby team. As a condition of the match, the Villa side had to agree to play the first half under rugby rules and the second half under association rules. Very strange sounding there. So you have one half in rugby and one half in football. Wouldn't see that today. After moving to the Wellington Road ground in 1876, Villa soon established themselves as one of the best teams in the Midlands, winning their first honour, the Birmingham Senior Cup, in 1880, under the captaincy of Scotsman George Ramsey. The club won their first FA Cup in 1887, with captain Archie Hunter becoming one of the game's first household names. Aston Villa were one of a dozen teams to compete in the inaugural Football League in 1888, with one of the club's directors, William McGregor, being the league's founder. Aston Villa emerged as the most successful English club of the Victorian era, winning no fewer than 5 league titles and 3 FA Cups by the end of Queen Victoria's reign in 1901. In 1897, just a minute while I get my charger. Need to get out this habit really, don't I? By the end of Queen Victoria's reign in 1901, they had won 3 FA Cups and 5 league titles as well, wasn't it? In 1897, the year Villa won the treble. No, not the treble, sorry, the double. There was no treble in them days. They moved into their present home, the Aston Lower Grounds. Supporters coined the name Villa Park. There was no official declaration listed for ground as Villa Park, though, and it was only really later called it. Aston Villa won the 6th FA Cup in 1920. Soon after, though, the club began a slow decline that led to Villa, at the time of one of the most famous and successful clubs in world football, being relegated in 1936 for the first time to the second division. This was largely a result of a dismal defensive record, with which they conceded 110 goals in 42 games, 7 of them coming from Arsenal's Ted Drake, in an infamous 7-1 defeat at Villa Park. Like all English clubs, Villa lost 7 seasons to the Second World War, and that conflict brought several careers to a premature end. The team was rebuilt under the guidance of former player Alex Macy for the remainder of the 1940s. Aston Villa's first trophy for 37 years came in the 1956-57 season, when another former Villa player, Eric Houghton, led the club to a then record 7th FA Cup final win, defeating the Busby Babes of Manchester United in the final. The team struggled in the league, though, and were relegated 2 seasons later, due in large part to the complacency in the team. However, under the stewardship of Joe Mervyn, Villa returned to the top flight in 1960 as Second Division champions. This following season, Aston Villa became the first team to win the EFL Cup, or Football League Cup. Merkel was then forced to retire from the club in 1964, which signalled a period of deep turmoil, and the most successful club in England was struggling to keep pace with the changes in the modern game, with Villa being relegated for a third time under the manager Dick Taylor in 1967. The following season, the fans called for the board to resign, as Villa finished 16th in the second division, with mounting debts and Villa lying at the bottom of Division 2. The board sacked Tommy Cummings, the manager who was brought in to replace Taylor, by the way. And within weeks, the entire board resigned under overwhelming pressure from the fans. After much speculation, control of the club was bought by London financier Pat Matthews, who also brought in Doug Ellis as chairman. However, the new ownership could not prevent Villa being relegated to the third division for the first time at the end of the 1969-70 season. However, Villa gradually began to recover under the management of former club captain Vic Crowe. In 1971-72, they returned to the second division as champions with a record of 70 points. In 1974, Ron Saunders was appointed manager. His brand of no-nonsense man management proved to be effective, with the club winning the EFL Cup the following season. And at the end of the season in 1974-75, he had taken them back into the third division and into Europe. Villa were back among the elite as Saunders continued to mould a winning team. This culminated in a 7th top-flight league title in 1980-81. To the surprise of commentators and fans, Saunders quit halfway through the 1981-82 season after falling out with the chairman, with Villa in the quarter-final of the European Cup. He was replaced by the softly spoken assistant manager Tony Barton, who guided the club to a 1-0 victory over Bayern Munich in the European Cup final in Rotterdam, courtesy of a Peter Withy goal. The following season, Villa crowned European Super Cup winners by beating Barcelona 3-1 on aggregate. This marked a pinnacle, though, and Villa's fortunes declined sharply for most of the 1980s, which was culminated in relegation in 1987. This was followed by promotion, however, the following year under Graham Taylor, and the runners-up position in the first division in the 1989-90 season. Villa were actually one of the founding members of the Premier League in 1992 and finished up to Manchester United in the inaugural season. For the rest of the 90s, however, Villa went through 3 different managers and their league positions were incredibly inconsistent. Although they did win 2 EFL Cups and regularly achieved UEFA Cup qualification. Villa reached the FA Cup final in the year 2000, but lost 1-0 to Chelsea in the last game to be played at the old Wembley Stadium. Again, Villa's league position continued to fluctuate under several different managers, and things came to a head in the summer of 2006 when David O'Leary left in acrimony. After 23 years as chairman and single biggest shareholder, by approximately 38%, Doug Ellis finally decided to sell his stake in Aston Villa due to his ill and declining health. After much speculation, again, it was announced that the club was to be bought by American businessman Randy Lerner, who was owner of the NFL franchise, the Cleveland Browns. What a disgusting sport, American football is. But regardless, the arrival of a new owner in Lerner and of manager Martin O'Neill marked the start of a new period of optimism at Villa Park, and sweeping changes occurred throughout the club, including a new badge, a new kit sponsor, and team changes in the summer of 2007. The first cup final of the Lerner era came in 2010, when Villa were beaten 2-1 in the EFL Cup final. Villa made a second trip to Wembley in that season, losing 3-0 to Chelsea in the FA Cup semi-final. Just 5 days before the opening day of the 2010-11 season, O'Neill resigned as manager, and after 1 year with Gerard Houllier in charge, Birmingham City manager, bit controversial that, Alex McLeish, despite numerous protests from fans about his appointment. This was the first time that a manager had moved directly between the two rivals. McLeish's contract was terminated at the end of the 2011-12 season after Villa had finished 16th place, and he was replaced by Paul Lambert. In February 2012, the club announced a financial loss of £53.9 million, and Lerner put the club up for sale 3 months later, with an estimated value of £200 million. With Lerner still on board, in the 2014-15 season, Aston Villa scored just 12 goals in 25 league games, the lowest in Premier League history, and Lambert was sacked in February 2015, with Tim Sherwood succeeding him. He managed to steer the club away from relegation, while also leading them to the 2015 FA Cup final. But he was sacked in the 2015-16 season, as was his successor, Remy Gardner. But he could not prevent the club being relegated at the end of the season, ending their 29-year stay in the top flight. In 2016, the Chinese businessman Tony Xia bought the club for £76 million, with former Chelsea boss Roberto Di Matteo was appointed as the club's new manager, but was sacked after a poor start to the season. He was replaced by former Birmingham manager again, Steve Bruce. Bruce led the club to a finish 4th in the 2017-18 season, but lost in the 2018 EFL Championship playoff final to Fulham. In October 2018, Bruce was sacked after only winning once in the 9-match stretch. He was replaced by Brentford manager Dean Smith, with John Terry and Richard O'Kelly as his assistants. Under Smith, performances and results improved, with the team finishing 5th and reaching the playoffs again. Helped on by a club record of 10 league game winning streak, they reached the 2019 EFL Championship playoff final and defeated my club, Derby County, 2-1, to gain promotion back to the Premier League after a 3-year absence. On the 9th of August 2019, on the eve of Villa's Premier League return, documents from Companies House revealed that Recon's group's minority share ownership had been bought out, and Xia no longer had any stake in the club. In Villa's first season back in the Premier League, the team battled relegation for most of the season, but managed to avoid relegation with a 17th place finish, staying up on the final day. And they will continue with the signings of Ollie Watkins and Jack Grealish in the club. So I hope you enjoyed the video, especially those Aston Villa fans probably did. Next week I will be doing Brighton and Hove Albion. See you then.